been working and he did his road trip, and I did my road trip, you know?
Yeah.
So we just kind of took a break. He's been working a lot. Get my shoes out, dig through the file. My early days of bouldering were bruised heels, no crash pads for the first couple years. Even when they were invented, they were weird. We would just carry one around. We thought that was it. That was the best thing ever, one small pad, and we'd all share it. And then we got maybe 2 or 3, and we thought we were getting really serious, and it was crazy. Now I have like 5 I carry myself sometimes, whole truck full. Yeah, so that's pretty much how I started. A friend of mine, Jason, who I used to just BMX bike ride around in junior high, went to Outward Bound one year, and he came back and said the coolest thing he did the whole summer camp he was there was like a week of rock climbing. And so he bought a rope and a harness and a little gear, bought the John Long How to Rock Climb book, and we all went out and just shared one harness and rappelled for like a year, climbed in our tennis shoes with the rope wrapped around our waist, and the belayer got the harness. And we didn't know what we were doing. We just dove in deep. Is because we loved hiking. We tried to hike every hill around here, especially because my name was Summit. I'd always get Summit on the summit, every hill. I'd try to bag every peak we could. So it was always in the outdoors, and climbing just seemed like the more next level, radical thing to do and stay outdoors all the time. So I was already kind of nature boy, you know? It just fit right in and just up to the scale of awesomeness of being outside. Once I really realized my name is really cool and the sport is like bigger, then I kind of was like, all right, this is it. I'm in it for life now. And I started making guidebooks. And the first one is Mount St. Helena, a little goofy one for practice, and Wine Country Rocks, a whole bunch of different editions. And then I made, I'm at like 7 right now, and I'm working on my 8th, if you count all those. I'm inspired to make guidebooks because, I love them. It was my Bible when I was a kid, Jim Thornburg's Berry book. I just read every page. I wore it out. So finding new rocks, I always wanted to do first ascents too. When I started doing more and more, I sent Jim Thornburg the info, and he didn't put it in. It kind of bugged me. I was like, I'm going to make my own little book. And it was a joke because my friend owned a printing company, and he just said, we'll just print something out right now. And then I was like, maybe I will actually make a wine country book. So I started with a little Mount St. Helena book. It was just a joke. But I made an actual wine country book because Jim wasn't putting stuff into my new stuff that I was proud of. And my first ascents I did in his book. He eventually did it. We're total bros now. But back then I didn't really know him. I was like, and I wanted to be like him. He was the best photographer. He made guidebooks, did first ascents, climbed hard. He was just an all-around rad dude. One other thing about guidebooks that I've come to realize and is maybe more of a bigger reason why I did it that I didn't know of before is what I think is good is to get people outdoors. And that's like my main deal. If you get them outdoors, whether it's climbing or just hiking or taking their kid climbing, they're going to have more love of that space and want to take care of the environment. Basically, my saying with guidebooks is there's a fine line between a sellout and a holdout. And because my friend Marcos, my best friend I started climbing with, he said, dude, you're a total sellout for sharing these. You're just going to blow up. The access is going to go bad, and there's going to be people there every weekend with dogs and just annoying. And I was like, yeah, that's true. So I'll be the one that gets to choose where they get to go because they have to go somewhere. We're either going to force them all into the few areas we have, or we can spread them out, but not give all the secrets away. And somebody needs to be in control of that cares, knows what they're doing. And so I'm like, dude, I might be a sellout to you, but to other people, I'm a holdout if I don't share all the info just to help them too. But then the middle ground is that it just really does help to kind of have it, figured out. My first ascents have been very special to me because I always wanted to do one when I started climbing, and to find a few at the little few rocks we had and squeeze in my own thing I could imagine was so special. And then I just kind of caught the bug and saw from a few old school climbers, you could go out and find a whole rock that's never been climbed. You don't have to just do one on the side of some rock that's already there. I'm like, what? And I just started hiking around. I already figured that a long time ago. We're just going to climb whatever, but I didn't realize that there's like a hunt going on for like the best ones. I was like, I'm in on that. So I actually counted a few years ago if I'm going to start bragging about it. And I did like a year. I counted how many I did, and I got to like, 50 or 100 that year. So I said, okay, over 20 years and now 30 years, that's probably maybe 2,000. But every boulder I find, I have to hike around, cut out a whole new trail to it maybe, bushwhack, carrying pads just to do this little 10-foot thing that it might take longer to brush up one boulder than it does to bolt a whole route. But my name's Summit. I was born to do it. I might as well just do it. I'm broke, but I love it. I was just put here to do it, so I kind of have to. I just do it. Right on. crazy. Good Lord. I start thinking of injuries and self-rescued, broken leg, rescued a guy in a helicopter, relocated all 3 of my friends' shoulders numerous times. There's a bunch. I was bouldering up at new rocks I found at Russian River, and a guy wrecked his kayak and couldn't breathe, broke his ribs on one of his lungs. He could barely breathe, and he was like dying. They're like, good. So I had to go call the ambulance, and I ended up having to help the firemen because they couldn't get across the river very good. Then we put him on a backboard and carried him. I had to guide him through the boulders because they didn't know the way, and I knew the way. So we ended up carrying him through the boulders, and their boots were slipping. So me and my climber friend were pretty much running the show. Well, not really. There was a couple of firemen were doing it. Were kicking ass. They were awesome, but the other ones weren't so agile. And put him in the helicopter, and then the lady's like, "Hey, since you're the one that I first talked to, you want to take his kayak down the river like 10 miles to his car, or to our car?" I was like, "Sure." So that was a crazy day. But there's a bunch more. What I feel climbing's given me is, first thing comes to my brain is a sense of community. And I didn't really expect that one. It's just such a tight, cool community, and we're all so weird, such weirdos, but they're so awesome at the same time that I love them. You know, half of my best friends for life are people I just met climbing over the years. And you can meet someone and just instantly be bros and trust them, pretty much. Just know you're a climber, and talk to them, and you know that they're a real climber or they're serious. You're bros. You could be total bros. That's what it's given me, but it's also given me like a sense of pride and confidence that I lacked a little bit of before, and all the mad ninja skills. Right on.
Nice.
Nice. Did I crush it?